This is an instructional video to demonstrate the process involved in updating the firmware on the remote controls and the ROVs for both the G3 and the Revolution. So first thing that we need to do, we need to connect our tether, which is connected to the tether reel, and also to the ROV and to the back of our controller. So make sure all the pins are lined up. Next, we need to use an Ethernet cable and connect an Ethernet cable which does have access to the internet into the back of our controller. So the Ethernet port on your G3 or Revolution controller is this center piece. So I'm going to lift out our watertight housing. I'm going to lock that in. And now we're set to turn the unit on. So we can turn on the unit by pressing the power button. And waiting for the system to boot up. All right, looks like the GUI is fully launched. Our system is ready to be accessed. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to screen record for the purposes of this training video. So you can just ignore that on the right-hand side. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our factory menu. So the factory menu is something that we don't normally teach clients how to use. We're going to press the function button and both light buttons, auxiliary and primary. And now we can see the factory menu has come up on screen. We're going to slide down using our joystick to firmware upgrade, and we're going to hit the enter key. Now, when we're in here, we have several menus. We're going to start with the check status. And basically this tells us that the controller firmware version is 2.5. The ROV we're not sure of, it hasn't checked, and the latest firmware version it's not sure. So I'm going to hit enter on check status. Okay, and it's told us that the latest firmware version is firmware version 3. I will scroll down to download firmware, and I'm going to hit the enter key. Internet connection available, downloading latest firmware. And now we wait. Firmware download is complete, so I'm going to hit the enter key. And now we're still in our factory menu firmware upgrade. So I can see that the controller version is still 2.5. The ROV version, it is not sure, and the latest version is 3. What we're going to do is we're going to upgrade the controller software. So I'm going to hit enter on flash firmware. All right, so I retrieved the controller charger. I'm just going to plug that into the back. Now, the controller charger, as you know, is this rear port on the side. We'll line up our pins in the correct direction. And now the controller indicates that it's charging. So let's go back into our factory menu. So function, lights. We'll scroll down to our firmware upgrade. And we're going to flash firmware. Flashing firmware. Do not power off. Flashing complete. Press OK to reboot. So now the system should turn off and restart the new operating system. Upgrade successful. Alright. So what you notice right away, right now the controller is not talking to the ROV, so we can power everything back down and back on again to turn the ROV back on. And that's why we don't see as many details on the graphic user interface. We do see that the controller is charging. And with the new system, we have this icon. This is an internet icon. So this shows us that our controller is happily connected to the internet. So now we're going to undergo the second step. So we need to upgrade the firmware on the ROV. On any controller that has software of 3.0 and higher, you're going to start off with this, and it's a much simpler process. So I'm just going to turn everything off and turn everything on again to connect to the ROV. Here we can see our graphic user interface. Everything is up and running. Our sensor pod is giving us detailed information. So we're going to go into our factory menu. We're going to scroll down to firmware upgrade. And now this whole process is streamlined. The first thing we have to do is hit check for updates. So this is going to talk to the ROV and it's going to talk to the internet. We can see that our internet status is connected here, also indicated at the top. Check for updates. That's going to let us know exactly which version we have and which version we need. So ROV update is available. So let's cancel out of there. Take a look. So our current version is 3. The new version is also 3. So our controller is fully up to date. In terms of the ROV firmware, the current version is 2.7. The new version is 2.10. So we're going to install updates, and the complicated process we went through before in the future will be as simple as these 2 steps. Now our system is fully powered down and fully updated to the latest software.